the line, I lost and find. Ended the game in overtime, drawing of a new design. Drilling now unearth the mind, looking to the outward, speaking mind about words absurd. Blurred to the curb, walking along the verb.
Hey everybody, what is happening? East Ish bringing you some Madden 17 Ultimate Team content, and which means we're going to have to go over the NFL draft whole first round. I'm going to give you my mock draft, or at least what I'm going to pick to put into the set here. As you see the rewards for the draft predictor, if you're just interested in the NFL stuff, we're just going to go straight through it, just the same as you would any other mock draft. And you guys see right here, as we go further down you go, the more coin you're going to get for the Madden guys watching. So the first pick here, it's just got to be Myles Garrett. I think there's no point in messing around with that. That's got to be the pick. No sense in them not when they have another pick in the 12. Number 2, I know I'm hearing a lot of talk from the the Niners and stuff lately about drafting quarterbacks. Since the talk is coming from the Niners, that tells me that they just want the Browns to screw up and panic and take a quarterback. Not going to happen. And so it's a tough pick here between, to me, like Solomon Thomas here, and then with Jamal Adams. But I decided to go with Jamal Adams because of just the way the team's already built. And, they got Buckner last year, so that's just the way I wanted to go with that one. The number 3 pick out here for the Bears, it would have been Adams had he been there, and for me, he had been most of the time. Instead, we're going to go cornerback for them. We're going to go with Marshawn Lattimore. So, that to me should at least fill a big spot there. Guy doesn't have a ton of experience, but he flashed. He played really great, so I know he's obviously, going to be a high pick. Number 4 pick here, we're going to have the Jets pick. The Jaguars pick. And I know they may want to trade out of it, but, I think with that offense, the defense, they've done a pretty good job putting a defense together. It hasn't been healthy, but this year I think they can take a big step forward, which they need to on the defensive side. And you really got to take pressure off of Bortles. He cannot have another season the way he did. You're going to ruin that guy for whatever potential he has. I don't know what that is, but we know the guy can make plays. But give the guy a running attack, get him a Fournette. Just don't mess around. That guy is a stud. I'm not normally for picking running backs that high, but dude, he's one of the safer ones I've seen. He's got to be. Anybody can fail, but you got to go with Fournette with that pick. Number 5 out here, I'm only going to predict one trade in this, and this is going to be it, because I know Titans really don't seem to want this pick. The positions they want might be better off if they drop down. And I do think for the Browns, I think that their objective should be, for them to get Myles Garrett and get a quarterback. And I think that they will trade back up at some point into here, just to assure that they can get the guy they want. And they're probably going to want to go even ahead of the Jets, just to be sure. And I'm going to have them coming up, trading up to get Mitchell Trubisky for the Browns. So, they may give up their second. I'm not going to get into what they traded for that. But that's the only one I'm going to predict, because it's really hard, but there's going to be trades, obviously, in our draft. Within the number 6 pick here, this would be the Chargers. I think a lot of consensus there is going to be Malik Hooker there. He seems to be the best fit and fills a need. And I'm sorry if I say names wrong. That could be Malik. I do not know. There's a few guys here that I'm not familiar with the pronunciation, so I apologize ahead of time if I say any names wrong. But that one seems to be one of those ones that when you look into it, it's just going to be. They're very common to see that, along with the number 8 selection. Seems to be a common one where you're going to see Christian McCaffrey, which seems to be a really good fit for the Panthers system. So a couple ways they can go there, but and I do like the running back there. Situations. They've always had multiple guys though, and he seems he can get out receiver. He can do a lot of things. So I think that does make sense to do that and give another weapon to Cam, help him out a little bit more. And you're gonna get the Kuechly back healthy, and hopefully the defense will still hold up. They'll have to go fix some of that stuff later. The number 9 selection here, the Bengals. I think the Bengals would be ecstatic if the draft fell this way, because Solomon Thomas would then drop to them, and they definitely need him. I mean, if he goes that way, they could go middle linebacker. Also, people, that would have been a spot if Solomon doesn't fall. If I'm wrong on the number 2, because there's a good chance that he goes number 2 to the Niners. Then of course the Bengals are probably going to want to look at a linebacker, Reuben Foster or Hassan Reddick. Either one of those two you could possibly see, but just the way this fell, I went Solomon Thomas. And then on the number 10 pick for the Bills, this is where I probably had a little bit of trouble here. I mean, they lost their corner. I know they're not happy exactly with the receiver situation, but Watkins got to stay healthy. He's got the potential out there. But because I think the corner is a big void out there, I went with Gary Conley, the cornerback. So that was just that one. Again, that one was a tough one for me. I'm going to be wrong on a lot of these picks. That one could definitely be one of them, but that's the direction I went with. That get them a corner to fill that spot with McKeldin being gone. Number 11 on the Saints. There's a couple ways earlier I was going to go, but again, you're looking at the guys who possibly could fall. These guys need pressure on the defense. I know it'd be nice to get weapons. Everybody likes that, but they can make it work. If you're going to give Drew Brees another shot, you've got to improve that defense. And with Jonathan Allen falling to you there, I think that's a solid pick for them to take. Nothing too flashy, but they've got to get solid. They've got to, and they've got to pick at the end of the first round also to fill another void. So number 12 here, this is where the Browns were at, and they traded out. So I have the Titans coming here, and I think what you're looking for, and reason why I don't think it was bad for them to drop down, is because they want that number 1 receiver. And I know Mike Williams is rated high, but I think Corey Davis is going to be the pick. I think he is the better, more explosive guy, touchdowns and every all around. I think that's just the guy I would lean to. So I think that the Titans trade down, get an extra pick, and get Corey Davis, which would be excellent for them, I think, because he's not going to make it otherwise. Where they're going to pick the Cardinals, who are at 13. We're definitely going to be looking at Corey Davis. That is one of the guys that they are coveting. But because of the way this went for them at 13, and I know Patrick Mahomes is tempting out there, but I think that they're going to go out and instead try and get more of a solid player. And where they're really lacking at is that middle linebacker spot. They don't. Minter's gone, and Buchanan is not supposed to be the middle linebacker. Obviously, he's not there. They've got a 1-year deal, coming in. Dansby coming back, but because of the way it broke down, we're going to take Reuben Foster. If he wasn't there, I would have went Hassan Reddick either way. And they might have Reddick ahead of Foster just because of what happened. But at the end of the day, I think that they still go with Reuben Foster. He's not as big of a risk. I think that it makes it look like, but we'll see how that one turns out. Then the Eagles. Couple different ways they could go on that. I thought about going with a corner on that, somewhere maybe defensive side, but you know what? Let's give Carson Wentz another great weapon, somebody more that you guys can consider a number 1, solid 1, and we're going to go with Mike Williams for the Eagles. I think that would be a great fit for them also, and again, just you got a lot of weapons. Receivers over there, but I don't know if there's anyone consider consistent, there, and you got a good tight end and stuff like that. So that's why he falls. The Colts there at number 15, again, a middle linebacker to me makes the most sense with Hassan Reddick. Dropping there because he could go in 9 or 10. Hassan could go to the Bengals, something like that. So if he's there, some of these guys it's dropping really nice for. That is a need and definitely a player of value at 15, I think. At number 16 here, Ravens pick. I know they would have loved to have Mike Williams, probably one of those top receivers there. Not going to get him here. And to me, John Ross, small. He's not going to work, with that size. So to me, they take the next best receiving weapon who is on the board, which is going to be O.J. Howard, the tight end. He's very comparable, people think, to Jimmy Graham. I mean, let's not get crazy because we're talking about a rookie, but he's got those attributes, So for them at that, I mean, and that's always been a very tight end friendly offense. So I think that pick, if he falls that far, they'll jump on him. I think that should be a no-brainer. But, again, let's see. The 17 here, we're going to go with the Redskins. some people think they could go running back there, possibly. I don't know. Even quarterback. But, they're going to have to figure that out after the fact, I think. I don't think this is the year to address that. Maybe they could make the situation work. Maybe if they have a good season, they'll be willing to pay, him what he's worth. They could be, who knows how that's going to go. But because of that, we're going to go and we're going to see if they can get somebody who's going to help the defensive side, bring a little bit of pressure out there. And we're going to go with Derek Barnett, the defensive end. So we're going to get Barnett to the Redskins, 17. Should help that defense out, get some more pressure out there. I think the offense is good. I think it is. They just got to worry about the future of that, more keeping that together than anything. The number 18 pick here is going to be the Titans' second pick, and since we got them the receiver that they wanted, they don't have to look at that, and their top guys would have been, they already got one, so now we can look at the defensive side of the ball, corner, safety perhaps, but I ended up going cornerback for the Titans, and I went Marlon Humphrey at number 18. There's a few choices, excuse me, a few choices in different directions they could have went with that, but to me that one makes sense, and that's where we're going to go. Okay, at number 19, we're going to be looking at the Bucks there. I'm going to go with a lot more consensus on this one. It was a bit tougher in there. Because the running back situation just could not be consistent. They've got receivers. They got a quarterback out there. And I'm going to think that they're going with Delvin Cook as the pick. The defense probably could use a couple things also. But, with the weapon out there, he's got a really good talent. I think that's the direction that they're going to go. Number 20 out here, we're going to beat the Broncos. It's really weird. I can't believe, I guess there just wasn't really strong offensive line talent versus need for it, perhaps. But we made all the way down here before an offensive lineman really goes for me. I don't know if that'll really happen. That's kind of crazy. So that could be one of the things I missed on here. But we're going to take, I don't know this name, Ryan Ramczyk, something like that. Either way, I don't know. So I apologize there. That was going to be the offensive lineman tackle there for the Broncos. And then we're going to go to the number 21 pick, Detroit Lions. Again, this one was kind of tricky here because I was actually really tempted to go the inside linebacker, perhaps, Jarrell Davis. But, like I say, it was almost a coin flip on that. But instead, I'm going to go with the defensive end, Taco Charlton. We'll have Taco going to Detroit, and hopefully that one will work out. We're getting up here 10,000 coins now for pick 22. At number 2, we're going to be the Dolphins. I think they moved. Did they possibly move their guard to tackle, if I remember right? So they might have a hole there. I could be wrong, but that's what I remembered happening there. So I'm going to end up taking Forrest Lamp here. Take him, and we'll put him with the Dolphins at number 22. At 23 will be the Giants pick. I've seen a lot of projections for possibly a tight end here. They could be going that. They could go that way. I could see that happening. But instead, I'm going to go and I'm going to give them another offensive lineman here, and we're going to get Garrett Bowles going to the Giants. I think that's more important here. They've got to protect Eli better. You really got to do a better job there, guys. Number 24. We're going to go is going to be the Raiders pick. And I think, the offense again puts up points. They stay healthy. If they got the running back situation. So let's get them another dynamic inside linebacker, Jarrell Davis. If Jarrell Davis falls here, I think that's going to be a great fit, and it's going to be a scary team next. At number 25 here, we are going to be on the Texans pick, and we all know the situation over there. So if one of them, I think if Mahomes falls this far, if somebody doesn't come up and try to get ahead of them, that's probably the guy there. They could go a couple different ways depending on really how they have the other quarterbacks rated, though. I don't know where they have him versus Kaiser versus some of these other guys. Webb, we'll see. But that's, to me, we're going to have them going with 25. We're going to end up giving them Mahomes. Now, I can see the Steelers even wanting to come up and trade ahead and get Mahomes. I think that would be a really good fit there for them and a smart move for the Steelers to trade up, but I don't have them doing that here. All right, at the 26th pick here, Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what they're trying to do out there with Sherman, but I obviously going to have some secondary stuff coming up here, and I think they go with the hometown kid, and they end up taking King at quarterback, Kevin King in Washington, and to fill a spot there, and and hopefully be the guy in the future with whatever happens in there. But they need another corner anyhow, so I think that is a smart pick. Number 27, we're going to be at the Chiefs here. It was very tempting to give a quarterback to the Chiefs. I really want to. I've wanted to for years. I mean, I think that team could possibly won a Super Bowl if they, had a quarterback. Not somebody who's just an extreme game manager. That's kind of just unfortunately how that worked out for them, though. And you got a guy who can, like, for some, you're in that middle land, like, what do you do with it? So I ended up passing on it, though, and instead we're going to go and give them Zach Cunningham. We'll see how it turns out. That's the way I went with that. I know they can use some help out there at linebacker. Number 28 here is going to be the Cowboys pick. Couple directions to go, but I think just improving that defense, getting that up. I think the offense is pretty well off for a while, so we'll look into the secondary on this. Not really. The safety was maybe a consideration here at this point, but instead I went with Adoree Jackson, cornerback. That one should fill the spot, and I know he's one of those guys that they're thinking might sneak into the end of the first round. So we'll see where that lands. At 29, we're going to go with the Packers pick here, and I think they do go with T.J. Watt. I know he's been linked there a lot, but to me, why not? We'll give it a shot. I mean, it's. You got to continue to build a defense for that team. Aaron Rodgers will find ways to get points. There's not really any running back or anybody else at that point that I look at here that I want to see, but could be a direction they go also. But for this one, we're going to give them T.J. Watt. The number 30 pick here. Now we're getting to that Steelers. So. Like I say, if they didn't get Mahomes, I don't know if they would really take a shot at one of the other quarterbacks or not. Maybe, perhaps. But I know that there's a lot of guys out here who are going to want to see Jabril Peppers. It could be the pick. A lot of people, a lot of the fans do want Peppers on the team, so he definitely could go that way. But when I look at just the way it falls, I think that a better fit would be Takaris McKinley, outside linebacker. I think you're gonna, you got to get the pressure out there. You got to fill that outside linebacker spot, and I think that's probably the direction I would go if I was them at that point if they don't go for Mahomes. So I lied. There was another trade I put in here. I originally had the Falcons taking Malik McDowell, but then because I'm a homer here, I know that the Cardinals are better suited getting the quarterback, and I know that they can't wait until the next round because you've got the Niners there, and I think the Niners will look at snagging whatever quarterback they can in the front end here of the second round. So I do think the Cardinals will attempt to trade back into 31, and then it's going to be between Kaiser or Webb. I'm going to go with Webb as the guy they pick, but I mean that's a coin flip there. I'll probably just see whichever card I can get and plug it in there, but I do think that they will trade in actually to jump ahead of the Niners. And then for the 32 pick here, we got the Saints, and if this happens, I think that they'd be thrilled because in this scenario, John Ross falls to them at 32. He could go much higher, but I don't know how many other teams are going to put a lot of value on that. But this guy replaces Brandon Cooks for what he does there, and then they also got themselves Jonathan Allen. So if they can come out of the first round with Jonathan Allen and John Ross, I don't think that any of their fans are really going to complain. So that's what I got here. Hopefully one of you guys hits this Cam Newton one. That's the point of doing all this for us on Madden here, right? It's we're trying to, whoever gets the most is going to get that card here, and I know they're going to have the master set. We'll see what they do when they open it up, because I know you'll be able to get this card another way. But best of luck to all you guys who are trying to do this. You got to have it in before Thursday. So tomorrow, if you don't have it today or tomorrow, I'd feel like you're set. Hopefully you guys got collectibles in there. We only got 30, so what are we going to do, EA? If you don't have a farm team, you only got 30. So other than that, thanks for checking this out, guys. Next time, peace.